I'm Marny Nesher, publisher of the Central New York Business Journal, and would like to welcome everyone to our latest CNY Business Journal interview series. Please stay up to date by viewing our website daily at CNYBJ.com for the news and impact that the coronavirus is having on every business in Central New York. Now I'd like to introduce Tom Klink, president of Infinit Technology Solutions located in East Syracuse. Tom, thank you for joining me.
You're welcome, Marny. Thank you for taking the time out to meet with me today.
My pleasure. So if you could share with our audience, our readers, tell us more about your company. Who are you?
Yep. So Infinit Technology Solutions is a 15-year-old company. We primarily started as a network hardware reseller, providing top name manufacturer hardware solutions to our clients. And over the last several years, we've evolved that company more into a service and full, what I call advanced services company. So when we go and meet with companies, we identify ourselves as an engineering company that provides technology services and hardware solutions. So we try to be full service, and we try to focus on the SMB mid-market, where they need access to that high level engineering talent, but not always able to just hire, a high level engineer. We like to bring that talent to our customers and let them share those resources.
Okay, and what are the regions that you currently serve?
So we focus on upstate New York, Buffalo to Albany. We have a second office in East Rochester with engineers stationed there as well. But we sell from hardware solutions and service all over North America. So our primarily growth for SMB mid-market client bases, or our advanced IT solutions, or our service related products to clients, we focus on the upstate New York territory, but our breadth and our product knowledge and our customers are all over North America.
Okay, so tell us a few months ago when everybody started working remotely, what kind of challenges did that present to you and your team? Were you guys overwhelmed with all the requests, or what was going on?
Yeah, so initially, because we are a service-based company, we were definitely feeling some of the pressure. It was long nights, long weekends. Engineering side of the house went above and beyond. We had made some pretty good investments a year or two ago into our systems that we manage our clients with. So it was super, super helpful, and it kind of proved to be extremely valuable because we deploy agents onto all of our clients' desktops and servers and stuff like that. We were able to work 90% of it remotely and get all of our customers converted over to remote workers in a very short amount of time. Now, the activity obviously was kind of, for a couple of months, very hot and heavy, and everybody went above and beyond, but the team rallied around each other. We put in the nights, put in the weekends, and our customers were extremely happy at how easy it was to transition from everybody being in the office to everybody being able to work from home.
And during that period of time, did you get new business inquiries from companies that were also scrambling to get themselves set up to work remotely?
Absolutely. So we were blessed that we started to get some referrals, some from previous clients that we had already helped or we've been working with, had referred other friends or business owners to us. And then, we went on a kind of social media blitz, right? So as soon as this happened, my message to the company was be present, be visible, be noticeable. We wanted to make sure our community knew we were here to help them. So we went out with our AIS services first and said, hey, we're going to give up to 90 days free service to people that sign up with us so that they can get through the next 90 days or whatever if they signed a 3-year agreement. So we created separate programs around that. We created a resource page where clients could log in and sign up and get free resources. Like if they wanted access to WebEx for free or certain business tools, they could go out to our resource page and they could grab these free software and free tools that the manufacturers were providing to businesses and take advantage of them and use them. And so we definitely saw an influx, and it's a blessing because we are a service related company that we have continually stayed steady all the way through this, and we've seen unfortunately a lot of competition in the area make adjustments or changes to their business model or to their staff. And we've been blessed that we've actually grown our business, and I've hired 3 full-time workers and 1 intern during this whole transition process.
So it's great during this COVID-19 to see businesses that are able to either maintain or to even grow their employee base. That's really important. So share with us, you do provide cyber risk planning among the services that you offer. Can you talk about some of the online risks businesses are, being exposed to as more of their employees are working remotely?
Yep. So definitely. So as part of our AIS program where we do assessment mapping and road mapping, we try to get clients to understand that there is this whole big world out there, right? And so on the cyber risk side, not only do we help them with looking at what the risks are out there, but we also have the ability to offer cybersecurity insurance, things like that help protect their business as well. And then what we do is when we're mapping out a strategy is we try to make sure that education is at the forefront of this. A lot of times when we meet with people, either they don't know, they don't want to tell you they don't know, or when somebody goes in to explain it to them, they're way above their head, right? They're kind of like not really giving them the time or kind of giving them the simplified version of what you can do. So we constantly, for our clients and for new customers, find ways that we can communicate with them at all levels and make sure that they know that everything that happens starts with education. So we provide these help lists to our clients that say, make sure that when you're looking at emails that you're not just clicking and reading, right? A lot of the threats that are escalating or they get out there are either from somebody doing a phishing attack, some kind of malware or spamware that's coming through our email systems, So we try to get everybody that we work with, our clients, they all go through a training program, and then we send tips and suggestions out on a quarterly basis to say, make sure you don't get too comfortable. If you click on an email, make sure you hover over the email address and make sure you know who the sender is, right? If there's links in the email and you're unsure about it, I always tell everybody, just delete it. If it's truly important, they're going to call you back or they're going to email you. Like if somebody sends me an email and I don't trust it, I just delete it. I don't click on anything. I don't even open up the email. I just delete it because that's the number one safe thing you do. If it's important, they're generally going to call me up and say, hey, did you see my email? And then I'll say, oh, you know what? I might have seen it, but didn't know it was from you. Could you, and at that point we can interact while we're on the phone and I can see it. But generally, if there's any kind of links associated with emails, you just want to make sure that you recognize it, that it's legitimate, that the email address and the header and everything matches up, because these guys are getting really, really good at what they do and they're very tricky. So there's probably, I would say probably 5 or 10 a month that come into my building here that go out to my employees, whether it's my CFO, whether it's my operations guy, and say, hey, can you do this for me? And they're sending them from me, but it's not really me. So my people know, like I always tell employers to tell your employees what you would never do, right? If you get an email from me, know that I would never ask you for these things. And that way, if they ever see those suspicious emails, it's an immediate pause, it's immediate stop, pump the brakes. That's not from our boss, or that's not from so-and-so, so we try to just educate, because that's the biggest thing, is just learning how they attack or how they present themselves so that hey, don't do that. And then the simple rule of thumb is, if you didn't sign up for it, if you didn't ask for it, if you didn't send for it, you probably don't want it.
Good advice. So business technology is rapidly changing our landscape. What would be 1 or 2 major technology developments on the horizon that business owners should be preparing for here in Central New York?
Yeah. So I think that the couple of things that I put out there were protecting the endpoints, right? So more and more, and not so much that it's new technology, but it's evolving technology. So making sure you have the right endpoint protections in place. With more and more people working remotely, protecting what comes in and out of their computers and then bounces back into your office, that's pretty crucial. So with the right endpoint protections that are in place, whether it be Trend Micro or the right antivirus, anti-malware, spam filtering type stuff in place, those definitions that are out there get updated routinely. So as people run against bad stuff, they're updating it, then they're pushing the updates out. So making sure you have active and up-to-date endpoint protections is critical today, especially with the number of people working remote workers. And then the number one thing that I find, or the number 2 thing, sorry, I already said number 1. The number 2 thing is that people don't always know if they have a solid backup and disaster recovery plan. And if they do have a solid backup and disaster recovery plan, they're not taking advantage of the tools and the technology that is currently available in some cases, or they've never tested it. They don't know that if something happened, they could recover. So we constantly want customers to have that plan in place, and we want them to test that plan, whether it's quarterly, biannually, but there should always be a testing of, you having to recover all the information and restore from your backups. So if you don't test it, you don't know that it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. So yeah, we get alerts and messages that say it's running and it's doing what it's supposed to be doing, but can an employee or employer actually recover if there's an issue? That's a part of the test. Is like, okay, you had an issue, you maybe have to recover some data, and now let's go through the processes and restore that data and make sure our backup and disaster recovery plan works as it's supposed to and minimizes the amount of downtime to our business.
And,
so
and
those
how often did you recommend doing a testing of it? Quarterly? What did you say?
Yeah, so depending on the size of the company, how much information is going back and forth, or how much they got to restore, it can be quarterly or it can be biannually. Generally, when we sit through and do a mapping session with them, we help them pick that time frame, and then we will do the test with them if they're one of our clients or partners, so that we can be there in the event some goofy goes on, where we have the right engineers to work through it and say, okay, we tried it, the restore, something failed, now let's figure out what happened. And generally with the test, they're during on off hours or at a specific time, so they minimize the impact of business, but at least lets the customer know that stuff works. And then, when you have certain things that happen in your environment, if it's a ransomware attack or certain things like that, you can recover a lot quicker if you have a good solid backup and disaster recovery plan.
So Tom, as we look towards, as a general question, we look towards the horizon and our landscape. What do you think our landscape in Central New York is going to be like as we continue to reopen here?
Yeah, so great question. So I think that the landscape is definitely forever changed. I think that companies are, like myself, we're starting to look at our real estate footprint. We're starting to look at how we run our business day to day. And we're starting to look at, like, when the employees come in the office, what do we need them to come in the office for? What are the jobs that are being done? Myself, we're going to definitely go to a more flexed workspace. So our employees are going to work some days from home, some days in the office. It's going to be a little more flexible, a little more open. I think we've seen on my side, through my company, my employees actually kind of got a little bit more reinvested in the business, I would say. When this whole thing happened, I think a lot of people were saying, will I have a job tomorrow? Will I go to work next week, next month, or whatever? And so we took that and turned it around and said, hey, you know what? Just plan your day accordingly, and let's just keep moving the ball a little bit forward every day. But it's been working for us. So the employees working from home hasn't hindered us. It hasn't slowed us down. The tools that we have in place for technology have allowed us to work seamlessly with our client base. And so I do see us having a flexible schedule. Our sales reps and our employees will alternate days that they come in the office and days that they stay home. And, I still think coming in the office is important for training and for communication and for everybody, knowing who they work with, and mind share and knowledge transfer, all that stuff still very, very important. So we'll always have the office space. We'll always have employees coming into work, but we're going to be a little more open, a little more flexible, and say, hey, you know what? If you're working from home and the results are there, then we want to keep doing that. If you're motivated and you're finding work-life balance, I want to encourage that, right? So I think that I've heard from a lot of people that I talk to out in the area that they're starting to re-examine these things. And this, because it's gone on longer than any of us probably thought it would, we're all seeing, like, what are the results now? So typically in our industry, what you start today, you don't see results for 3 months. So if this only lasted a month, none of us would really know whether it worked, helped us, hurt us. But now that it's lasted so long, we have a good sampling of saying, okay, you know what? Have we skipped a beat? Have we missed? Have we grown? Have we faltered? We're able to take a pretty big several month sampling now and say, okay, these are the things that are working. And it saves me money if I change how we do things in the office. It saves the business or allows the business to create more opportunity if we're more efficient in how we do things. So we're definitely going to change things here at Infinit. We're definitely going to be a little more flexible in the work days and the work schedules, and we're going to focus on results. We're going to focus on challenge our people to set 5 activities every day and completing them. And if they can keep moving the ball forward, then we'll continue to as a company, grow.
Thank you. Thank you, Tom. Thanks for spending time with me today. Everyone, please stay healthy during this challenging time. Every one of us has been impacted, but we will persevere as a community. We are resilient. And thank you again for joining me.